call those islands like the trials. Like I feel like it was like Hunger Games. Hunger Games. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to By the Cover podcast with
Mouse
and Ari, where we read books so you don't have to, or at least so you don't have to suffer alone.
Yeah, and today we're going over Onyx Storm. We're going to recap chapters 1 through 42. So if you're not caught up to that point, this is your official spoiler warning.
But don't worry, we're stopping at chapter 42, so no future spoilers here.
All right, so let's get into it, girl. So Violet, she's dealing with a lot of mess.
Yeah.
And it's absolute mess, especially with Xaden nearly turning Venom because, you know, her life is already like chaotic.
Right. And instead of just panicking like a normal person would, like I would, right? She's out here plotting a whole mission to find a cure and fight the venom. Classic Violet, always multitasking danger.
So she and the squad head beyond Navarre to find some new allies. And when I say allies, I mean like the whole hidden society and the legendary 7th breed of dragons. No big deal.
No big deal. Meanwhile, Basguide is still a mess, which we talked about in the last video. I'm like, why? Turns out Venom have been creeping around. Okay.
The whole time. They've been there hiding in wait.
And Violet and her crew exposed some of them. Then there's Theophany. Girl, she's like a low-key stalker who is basically our new big bad wolf. And she is obsessed with getting Violet to join Team Evil. Where is she coming from? Like, who is this girl?
She needs to mind her business.
Yeah,
but all of that going on, let's not forget my fave, and Darna. Like, she's our favorite baby dragon. She's like my favorite dragon right now next to Taryn. And she's not a baby anymore. So she's out here doing her own thing, you know, going through her own little dragon puberty. And suddenly she has the ability to kill Venom with fire.
She's crazy. And I love how she figured that out on her own, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like telling her BFF, Violet, she's like letting her know, by the way, I could do this real cool thing. I'm just like, yes, I'm here for it. So it's super clutch, but also kind of terrifying. Right?
It is. And she's so young too. Like, that's the part that I look at her like the little sister. So even though she is doing all these things, she growing up, I still feel like, oh my God, like, be careful.
Be careful. Like, we don't want you to get too into the danger zone. You know, Taryn is big. Taryn could take on everything.
Yeah, he can handle his own.
No.
Yeah.
So because of that, some super old dragons from a secret island take notice and decide they want to have a little chat with our girl, which was
my heart.
Heartbreaking. What was that?
They were really like shutting her out.
I love wanting to fight them. I was getting really defensive.
I was reading it and I was pausing. Like, I was just like, oh, hell no. Like, I was so tight.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets wild. So by the time we hit chapter 42, Violet and the squad have found some unexpected allies and uncovered a lot of new info. But the biggest gut punch, there's no cure for who?
Xaden. Like, all that work, all of that. I mean, they did come up with a lot of stuff, but...
Which is honestly not too surprising to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would just be too much of a, like, fairy tale ending.
Yes.
But, yeah.
And there's no ending yet because we got books, right? So no magical fix, no easy way out, just straight up bad news. And the reality that they're just going to have to fight this battle as is, including... not having the Irids that, you know, they were expecting to be like on the allies on the Darna side.
Yeah, and you know that means things are about to get a lot more intense.
Very.
But we'll save that later because we are not crossing the boundary after chapter 42 today.
Nope, we're keeping it clean, but that's the gist. Danger, dragons, dark magic, and Violet being as reckless as ever.
As always. All right, so I always gotta show my love to Taryn. Because Taryn, like, he never fails to me.
He
doesn't. And no matter what kind of situation, even if it's like a janky situation, like I highlighted this part and it was something, I forgot what exact scene it was, but it was when they were going into a continent and they lost all their powers and she was like checking on him. And he was like, I'm inconvenienced and annoyed and cut off from my source of power, strength, and my mate's thoughts. But I am still Terranic, son of Motricarium. And he started naming all these things. And Violet was like, okay.
All right.
But I just love that about him. Like, he's just so confident and he always just comes through. Even when he's like in this situation, like he loses his powers, he's lacking his resources. Mm-hmm. He's lacking his resources. And he's like, you know, he can't communicate with his girl. You know, he's having a hard time manifesting his own situations. Yes. Like, I just have to keep digging him up.
It was really uncomfortable for him. It was.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In any type of situation, I just love him. Like you said, anytime he's uncomfortable, it just, shout out to him.
I have a quote for that part. Like, specifically, it's not going to be quote, but I do love when Xaden says, oh, I know Sigale is in pain right now. Like, because of the lack of magic, he knew that Sigale was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he expresses that to Violet. And Violet's like, oh my God, like she didn't even realize that they were so uncomfortable to that point. So then she's on his back. She's on Terran's back. Mm-hmm. And she's like, why didn't you tell me you were in pain? You know, like, why wouldn't you like let me know? And he goes, do you let me know every time you are in pain?
That.
Do you? Yeah.
I highlighted that one
and
too.
He's like, do you let me know every time your knee socket flies out or your elbow gets dislocated or whatever it is? Like, and she was like, point.
Yes. See, look, I highlighted it too. He goes, you live in pain. Do you feel as though you need to alert me every time your knee twinges or your joints slip?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how we're on the same page.
I know, right?
That was cute.
So yeah, I thought that was like, you know, that's where obviously like, I do feel like Terran just gives me like dad vibes with her. So, you know, I love that part. So yeah, that was definitely, noted.
It's so interesting that you say that because I don't really like, for me, he's not giving me dad vibes. He's giving me like extremely overprotective brother vibes just because of even how they talk to each other. Like, it's, to me, it's just more like casual.
It could feel like,
you know what I'm saying? So it really,
uncle.
Yeah, just something. Yeah, like, you know, almost uncle,
like a young uncle.
Yes, I can see that.
Like that real cool uncle that you got, but then he's like still, you know, reminds you sometimes that he's your uncle. Yeah.
Like just the way they be cutting each other off and be trying each other. You know what I'm saying? Like they have their little like casual, but like, you know, that banter that you have with like, you know?
Yep.
But I love their relationship for sure.
Yep. And it's just crazy. So the way people downplay Violet's pain constantly is wild. She's out here struggling and still leading. And I feel like Terran knows that and doesn't downplay it, but still pushes her up. Like in the moments where he's like, you are strong. You're strong enough to lead. You're strong enough to do everything you need to do. And the people that I'm saying that downplay it are like Atos' dad or like people that just are, you know, clearly her villains or the antagonists in the whole book. But I feel like she really ends up stepping up so much and he believes in her so much. So I just love their relationship together. I just love how he didn't say anything to her because he knew she would worry. He knew she would probably abandon her stuff, like abandon herself and what she wants to do to make sure that he feels good. So
right.
I think that's why he's like, I'm not going to tell you that I'm in pain. I'm not going to like go into all of that. It's cool.
Right. And you know, honestly, Violet has that habit, like what you said, of like when she knows that her people is, you know, struggling or in pain or going through something, then that's the priority. Like she still is focused on whatever the thing is, but then now she's distracted on that person.
Yes, because she's always putting
the other person first.
Yeah, the people she loves. Like the people she really loves and cares about, she puts them first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's even like what happened in the very last chapter, when they were at the island.
Yeah.
And she separated everybody and she separated her and Xaden.
Yes.
And he was like upset and she was like, I can't be there because I'm going to be a distraction to you. And he would have been a distraction to her. Like they're literally, you know, because they're, you know, but that's definitely Violet's nature. And then I think it's a leadership kind of trait too. Like when you're a leader, like she is, especially because she took over that mission.
Natural leader.
Yeah.
Terran, since the beginning of this book. Terran.
What does it say? What did the audiobook say?
I feel like they say between turn and Terran. Like they don't go all the way turn, but they don't go all the way Terran. You know, I'm like, they say it fast, like Taryn. In the beginning, since the beginning of the book, she's like shying away from that leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
I think I touched on it on the previous videos, but she's like shying away from it. And then there's like that moment where there's this fight between all of the flyers and the riders in Basgayeth, and she ends up like Dane tries to take leadership, but he just ain't got the juice. Like he just does not have it. So she ends up having to step in. And of course, everybody is scared of her a little bit because she is one of the most powerful riders. She just wields lightning. And then her dragons, both of them are pretty powerful. So I think she just naturally she had to step into that leadership role. But Tara was telling her to do it. And then also with the whole mission, she ends up putting her foot down when one of the characters who was on one of the missions ends up killing somebody. Remember when we talked about that one, when they went to the island that was drained and the girl was there and she ends up freaking out and she kills somebody. So she ends up being like, look, I'm not doing this with y'all. Like, I need my team. I need my squad. I need the people that I pick. And I feel like that was a big leadership moment.
Yeah. And no, it definitely was, especially because like you said, she put her foot down. They weren't trying to have her go on that mission to find the seventh den. And she was just like, no, I have to. Like, I had to. She had to stand 10 toes down.
Yes.
And she was like, I have to. And then, she grabbed her team. They let her pick, I can't remember literally, but she strategically picked who was going with her. Like she even left Rhiannon because she was like, I need you there. Like, I need you to stay at Basgayeth.
Putting people in their, like, in perfect places.
Yes.
Like, that's a leadership role right there.
Yeah.
And then later on, in the books that we read, she goes, like, one of her quotes is, you don't get to poison my friend with impunity. And that's during the time when they were where Xaden's mom is from, which we'll get back to that one.
Yes.
But, and they're poisoning, right? They poisoned everybody with the chocolate cake, which Garrick.
But the whole time he was scarfing down food. The whole time. Literally, I literally imagine, I'm sorry, because I was just like, I literally imagined the way Rebecca was writing it. I literally imagined him like talking with his mouth open, like, because he was randomly saying stuff.
He probably saw that chocolate cake was like,
before they even had a chance to even describe what it was. You know how in royalty they'll be like, this is a digital, like he probably just was like, okay,
fork already in it, just gone. I was like, Garrick,
bro,
like, we don't trust these people. What are you doing? But that set Violet off, and I felt like she was like done playing games at that point. Like, she was just like, she fully stepping into her role as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you come for her people, she's gonna come for you even harder.
Yeah, no, for sure,
10 times harder. Like, she's not doing it. Like, she's not gonna lose somebody else. Even in that moment, remember, like, she thought Riddick got stabbed by the chef.
Oh my god,
in the kitchen.
Yes.
I dropped.
Yeah. But what happened with that one?
He did get stabbed, but it wasn't like a death. Like, it was like in a shallow, probably part of his body. He got the knife in him, but it wasn't like a killing point.
Yeah. And Riddick got mad because that was his one flight jacket.
Yes. Riddick is crazy. Riddick is so funny. I felt like that was her stepping into the role. No,
for sure. The whole those whole chapters, she really like did her thing. And even when she doubted herself, that's one thing that I even liked with Xaden.
Yeah.
Even I think from before these chapters, like, he kept being like, there's moments where he'd be like, this is you.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, this is you. Like, this, like, you need to do it. Like, you need to, like, if that's what you want to do, like, that's what we're going to do. If you don't want to do it, like, you need to say that.
Yeah.
And even like in the scene where
you're the leader, like, we're following.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just really like her, kind of like, I don't want to say like her soundboard, but, just like that person on her shoulder, because there was a scene, I forgot what episode. What scene it was where they shot, not Riddick, Traeger.
Oh my God.
And she's froze, and he had to be like, don't react. Like, through their bond, he had to be like, don't react.
They could talk to each other at that point. Like, that was the part where the magic was actually flowing.
Yeah, like, it started to come back. Yeah. But he had to be like, don't react. Like, he had to.
She would have probably brought the sky down on those people.
No,
I think if he didn't say that in that moment,
girl,
she would have murdered them all.
It would have been done.
And Traeger isn't even like one of her ones like that.
But he's a flyer, right?
Yeah.
He's a flyer.
He's a flyer.
Yeah.
But still, I felt that one because it came out of nowhere. Like, it was such a humorous, like, moment. Like, people were getting a mirror, some broken little thing, like
somebody
left and right. Somebody got a kitten. I think Riddick got a kitten. Broccoli, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was an orange tabby.
Like, why didn't you name him
Carrot?
Like, what? Yeah.
But no, it was
she would have killed them all. So it was like, thank God that Xaden said something.
But yeah. So I was just bringing that up just to tie in the whole leadership thing. Like, Xaden has always been having her back and even been helping her stay focused in crazy moments like that. Yeah. Like, she had to remain a leader. Like, she couldn't retaliate and act like just spastic and lose her emotion. Like, we had to keep her on track. Like, you're a leader. Like, you have to guide us, and this is why we are here. We have a mission. We have to talk to these people. Yeah, we need to, get to the end.
So yeah, Xaden and Taryn, I really feel like were her grounding. Like, that's who keeps her grounded, because she could end up. She's taking care of so many people at this point now. You know what I'm saying? She's feeling like that weight is starting to get on her shoulders, the same way we said Xaden had that weight on his shoulders. Yeah. Like, both of them now, I feel like has so much responsibility. Yes. So they have to keep each other.
It's crazy because I was just talking to Mallory about it. I have a business bestie. Her name is Mallory, by the way. Mm-hmm. But I've been updating her about the book.
2.0.
Yes. I've been keeping her updated about the book because she started reading our podcast. And when I was reading it to her, like, she was just like, dang, like she really been prepared, especially when, like you said, she brought the books with the poisoning and stuff like that. Yes. And then at the same time, I'm like, but damn, how is she, or why is she so prepared for something crazy to happen? Like, if Violet is going there, right, mm-hmm. for, a mission to get allies, why is she already, like, it's like she's plotting on them the same way they're plotting on her.
Yeah, because her dad puts a lot of warnings in the books. So, and there's clearly a lot of animosity with the continent that they're from, and then the Isles. Like, I feel like the Isles have a bit of animosity with the continent. That's why they came there kind of like seeking, help and things like that also. But I think that it's just this tension between the two countries or the two continents or whatever. So he went and explored all of those Isles, But girl,
I think, let me see if we're on the same page. What you about to say?
You remember how you like to say the emphasis thing, right? You remember how you say the emphasis thing, right? So tell me Rebecca wasn't emphasizing. How old is this dad? When did he get to visit all the Isles?
I didn't think about that.
When did he get to visit all the Isles? Maybe not the age, but specifically, she says it a couple times in the book.
I didn't notice.
You didn't hear? Okay, so Violet goes, I'm still trying to figure out, literally goes like, I'm still trying to figure out, when did he have time to visit all these Isles and write these books for me? She can't figure it out the time. She's trying to put it on the timeline for herself.
Right.
Because
it takes a lot of time.
It would take a lot of time for him to spend that much time there, though. Like, he spent enough time to like draw pictures of the animals and the insects and the butterflies and the flowers.
The maps. Like, he describes like the layouts, everything.
The layouts. He knows everything. So he had to spend, months, maybe even years in each of the Isles. And she's like, when did he do this? Which brings me back to...
You think he's alive?
I think he's either alive or he was a villain.
So it's crazy because, like I just said, I didn't think about what you're saying. But as you're talking about this, in my head, I'm not thinking about him being villain, but it's like, how did he have so much, not freedom, but so much like just ability to go to all of these continents without any issues, but to be there as long, like what you said, to be able to, investigate, be there all casually, I'm assuming, for him to be like, it's like every single continent he didn't have. Yeah. Like, he was just in, you know what I'm saying? Like,
almost like how a journalist would do, like a reporter, like they just waving a white flag and then he gets full access. Yeah. To know all the things, like get deep dive. That's what I'm saying. It's like, when did you have time? And even Violet is questioning this, but knowing Violet, I feel like she knows the answer. She just don't want to say it yet. Just like she knew the answers with Xaden, but she just didn't want to say it yet. You know how Xaden said that to her? Like, you know the answers. You don't want to ask the questions because you don't want to be right. So I feel like she's starting to suspect her father. But I don't know. We're not there yet. We don't have enough information on that one yet. So I'm not going to go too deep dive in that one. But that's also another theory that I have where I'm like, I don't know. You know, I got the Vamira theory. I got the Asher Sorengil theory.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start paying attention to that because Rebecca does do emphasis on things.
She said like 3 times.
So I don't know. I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last discussion, but I have a theory about Onyx.